So I've made some Godot games at this point, and one day I was sitting around in a chill mood. I randomly thought of this like 20p Zen chess game I had on my Switch, and what if it collided with this pocket mini golf game, which was probably on 90% discount. I don't know what I was on, but in my head it was a vibe, something that I could focus polishing and that would be fun to play, and also would just help with my Godot learning. So with that, I had an idea and I got to work. Firstly, I wanted to switch the art style, as I always stick with this vector and affinity. And so I opened Aseprite for the first time, and just, no way. Team Affinity for life. I'm never hopping in pixel art. But I wasn't joking about the pixel art, so there was kind of a problem. How was this possible with vector art? Well, my plan is simple. Just get a shader to make everything pixel, to make the illusionized pixel art. I seriously don't know why I didn't just make it pixel art though. I assume I was just lazy, or I thought I was just being a cool developer. So, for the shader, I got to searching online and realized that I had just started Godot and wasn't high enough level to just start doing shader business. I legit was just scrambling through posts because the lower quality the better. Then I met this uncle who started yapping about how people can't find dates on a newspaper. But then he sarcastically said, just turn on the resolution. Since I didn't have many easy options, I just did it. And it was low-key perfect. And I don't know how this even occurred because he didn't look like he knew what he was talking about, but we're here now. I had pixel art without the effort. Now that I had my shader, it was time to start on the golf aspects of the project. I started off with this floor, which I felt matched the aesthetic of golf games, then got to work on the golf ball and the physics for that. Which was funny enough very similar to the Angry Birds concept from another video. Coding wise, I set up a line from the golf ball to the mouse cursor, which was then capped at a distance. And then if the mouse is released, we can look at how this line is looking at and calculate ball movement. I'm not the greatest at explaining, so all you really need to know is that the ball now moves. But a new problem appeared, and it's bouncing off walls, since for some reason with my code it's just phasing through walls like it had 1000 ping. I tried to fix it, but for this one I just had to Control C and Control V. This is something I try to avoid without understanding the code, but in this occasion, this code is now my property. So collisions were now working. I then added walls to the game, and it was all on a tile map, so it was easier to make levels. I also added a whole camera system. I wanted to do this, but for some reason I couldn't rotate the camera, and it was annoying me, until I just found a simple box saying, allow rotations. It's a painful times. I then added the ability to rotate and zoom the camera in, which really went hand in hand with the pixel shader, as everything in my opinion just looks so sick, like zooming in and increasing the quality, though you might not want to zoom out. I mean, already the game was coming along. I was going for a very simplistic vibe and not too much features I felt were needed, but polish certainly was a key part of it, so I then added particles, which looked genuinely amazing with the camera. I know it's biased, but these were looking like a proper dev made it. Well, I'm not there yet, but yeah. Maybe one day. I then also had a simple hole and then started the next particles, which were particles that occur when hitting the wall. I then got particles done, evident by this glitch here. With this, I mean, I could have just made 18 levels, it would have been a fun little game, something I would be proud of, but instead my brain was like, wouldn't it be cool if we did procedural generation for the levels? Now first hearing this, I laughed. I was like, no way. That's a master developer skill, something I'd never done, and to start it when I was just new to Godot would be mental. I mean, absolutely. It's in. Press R and you get a random level based off procedural generation. I feel like this is one of those cases where you're just stuck and you don't know how you got there. And no, it's not fake procedural generation where it's just random number generators. I know, I actually surprised myself. The way I did it was just watching a video and realizing, oh, I can actually just copy this. The video featured a tile map similar to mine. The videos I watched were by gamedev and Sloth in a Hat, so shout out to them. It works. I'm not going to explain it. The only problem right now is my ball was getting stuck and most of the levels were very open just due to that's how a noise map would work. So to fix that, I checked how many tiles were valid and made it redo it if it was too high or too low, which basically patched it. Then I needed the ball to spawn in the correct location, which was a huge struggle, but I ended up with some duct tape code that I'd never recommend, just checking every tile so I could place the player in the first valid tile and the hole in the last. But now, some of the levels are impossible. They can't be done due to being a barrier in the way. The only way I could see this problem being patched is through pathfinding, another really complex method I was not ready to use. And this is something I couldn't get to work at all. I spent hours on this, but for some reason the nav mesh was just acting dumb and couldn't traverse my tile map. I think it might be something due to the fact that I was generating like 20 levels and then chucking them out, or something overall with my code, but I tried, and this was just a bug I couldn't solve. And a bug that would have to be in the final project. I learnt a bit about it, so it wasn't time wasted. It was just annoying though. The game now had its base kind of done. The particles on the side were satisfying, so there weren't too many complaints. Except, the complaint could be made that the game is boring. I know, but the art looks cool, I guess. Also, I increased the quality since zoomed out it was looking bad to a point it annoyed me. To spice it up a bit, I added this circle barrier to add a bit of challenge. Also, I decided to leave having infinite goes in the game, as it was supposed to be more Zen-like, and I thought that kind of matched the Zen energy. Next up, I threw in some transitions so it felt like the levels were never going to stop. And that's definitely the cool part about this game. The levels aren't ever going to stop. If you wanted to, you could quit your school or your job right now and sit on this game and play and play. And oh, there's an impossible level. Just press space to get rid of that one. And then play, and then play, and then realize the game is boring and quitting wasn't so smart. Oh, I don't know what I'm yapping about. Anyway, the touch I felt this game needed was music, so I hopped in the studio and made 2 calming tracks. They're actually okay. Compared to real music, they're awful, but compared to my catalogue, they're good. I did like one more than the other, so the other one only has a 20% chance of playing. Then I needed a name for the game. There was Endless Golf, Golf Forever, and Pixel Golf, but I ended up with Golf. It wasn't much better than the other, but oh well. Overall, I would just say this game is more of a tech demo than a game. I then put in a title screen, which I couldn't be bothered to set up the button, so when you click anywhere, it just starts, ignoring there's a button. I mean, this is a cool game dev trip. I don't really recommend it, unless you're like a bad dev. Like, this is actually not that great, now that I think about it, but cool trick. Ignoring that, it was time for sound effects. I just went on Google and copied them in. It actually added some weight to the game, definitely an underrated part of the game. Then for the UI, there's none. I hate UI. The resolution always messes it up, so in this project there is not a single UI. So now this game was done. A quick little export and I can now play it in your browser on Edge. Overall, it's a calm little game that I'm proud of and does have some feel to it. Something to play for like 5 minutes, but it does get boring. Also, impossible maps low-key happen often, and that's kind of annoying. This has been a video. If you go to the itch page, you can find another game I did for a jam. A video on that one will hopefully be coming soon. I don't know when, man. I appreciate the sub growth. 140 to 252 right now. If anyone wants to be my 253rd subscriber, then feel free. If you want to see how I made this Angry Birds game in Godot, click this video. Appreciate y'all. Goodbye.